So we just look at when we remove the node with one child, right? Now let's look at the scenario of removing a leaf node. So we want to remove Z. So we're going to pass J in as the root. So let's go back and look at the code. Now start to pass J in, right? Z is element, Z and J in. So it's going to pass Z and J to recursive remove. And J is not equals to null, then compared to Z is greater than, so it's going to fail into this case. It's going to call create.separate, recursive remove, and pass j.get right, and a Z. And let's look at j.get right. So we have Q. So we pass Q and Z in. Q and Z passing into recursive remove again, Z and Q. And of course it's going to fail into this again because Z is greater than Q. So we get Q.get right. Get right of Q is going to be R. So Z and R passing in. And Z is greater than R, so it's fail in this case again. And passing R.get right, which is Z. Now it's Z and Z. We compare, we pass this in Z and Z. Z and Z is not filling into any of this, but else. Then start to remove Z. Then we found remove node Z. And also set file to true, we found node to remove. So let's look at remove node, which is taking Z. What we want to look at is, since we pass Z to remove node, it should take Z out by set return null to the separate of R. Because we're waiting for create.separate. So this recursive remove, right, pass Z and Z in, right? And it should return null, which is failing to else case, remove node. Right, 3 equals remove node, this should return null. So let's go back to the algorithms. The algorithms that we have say we want to check the zero of if it's the leaf. So if it's a leaf, that means get left, which is Z is passing in here. Get left of Z is null and get right of Z is null. It's return null. This is perfect, it's separate to null. We're done. Now we said that let's look at this code again. Same zeros here, right? We're passing Z to remove node. And we said, okay, we just check only left equals to null. Return left equal to null. That means Z.get left equals to null is going to fail into the scenarios. And it's still going to return 3.get right, which is Z.get right. And it's going to return null too. Which is pretty much the same thing, it's going to return null anyway. So that's why this case is not necessary to check. We just try to simplify the code as much as we could. Right, we can remove one of the tests if we notice that the action taken when the left child reference is null also takes care of the case in which both child references are null. So this return null, then this is going to set right to null. Either it's going to be leave to the left or leave to the right, it's going to return null anyway, so that works. So we covered the scenarios of removing one child and removing the leaf. Now let's look at removing a node with two children. Same, we're going to say, okay, we call remove passing Q, which we want to remove from this example. So Q is passing in. And when we're passing in the Q, it's going to call recursively remove, which is passing Q and the root, which is J. So Q and J is getting a recursive remove here, right? At this point, we have Q and J. Now, we want to check if the tree is null, which is not. And we say Q is greater than J, so it's going to fall into these scenarios. Q is greater than J. So we're going to say J.get right, and then pass Q in, which recursive remove has Q and Q, because J.get right having a Q. So it's going to fall into the 0 of else, which is we found. So we're going to put that remove node Q, right, into remove node right up here. So this is remove, passing Q in. So what we want to look at is if it is the Q which the node with 2 children. So it's not going to fall into if with 1 children, right? Because this is a null. Get left and get right, no one get into null. So it's going to fall into else. So this else taking care of node with 2 children, right? Then we said our logic is we have to find the max of the left branch of Q, which is P. That's why we create a method get predecessors. It's going to pass the whole tree that get left, which is passing L. Passing L in, and it's going to find the max, which is P. Now let's jump into get predecessors. We're looking at P should be a data, right? So predecessor is somewhere right there. So we passing L in here, right? Q, pass L here, get left. Right, tree that get left. Always get left because always max up left branch. So L is in, so we start to look at while the tree dot get right not equals to null, because we keep getting the right to get the max. Right, to get the max of left branch has to go all the way to the right. So keep getting to the right. While it's not equals to null, we just say tree equals to tree dot get right. So now L is going to return n, right? And n is still not equals to null. Then it's going to n is going to get p, right? So p not equals to null. Then p is going to get right off p, which now is equals to null. Now 3 equal to p, then 3 don't get info returns p, right? So p being returned back to the data. Now data is p. And our logic said, okay, once we found the max of P, of left branch, which is P, then we're going to replace the node that we want to remove with the info, which is P should go there, in order to keep the property of BST. So, tree does set info, because tree is the Q that we're passing in, that we found, right? So, set info to P. So that's why this Q replaced with P. And lastly, we still have the pointer of n pointing to P. We have to remove that P, which is recursive remove again, right? Which is now we call recursive remove and pass P, right? And P is like a key, and then tree dot get left, which is pass L back because Q, right? At this point, it's Q get left. It's going to find P in this left branch, which is P happen to be a leaf. And if we go back, recursive remove is pretty much just take your L and P, and it's going to keep finding location. So it's going to recursively call greater than, because P is greater than L. So it's passed in here. And also in and P is still greater than, right? So it's passed in and P. So it's called recursive again, n and P. P and n, right? P and n. P and n is here. So compare again until we said n dot get right, which is return P. So P and P is here. So now we found node to remove. And this case it's come back to the same as errors leaf. So it's going to go to recursive remove the node here, remove the node. So we have passing tree, which is P dot get left. Now in this case, it's equals to null. Then it's return null back. So that's why n is set to null. Right, n set to null. So that's how we recursive remove node with 2 children. So we are done with removing. So next topic is the how we're going to write the traversal for pre-order in order post-order. We already know that pre-order is root left right in order is left, right root. No, left root, right. And post order is left, right root, right? So if we use a iteration approach, current program passes the reset and get next method, a parameter indicating which of the 3 traversal orders to use. Reset generates a queue of node contents in the indicated order. Get next process the node contents from the appropriate queue. So just look at which queue we want to use. So in this scenario, when we construct the BST, we also instantiate 3 queues, right? And we're going to use an unbounded, like linked list unbounded queue for each of the traversal in order, pre-order, and post-order. So recess we will call the size method in order to determine how large to make the required queue. In most cases, a client program that invokes reset immediately requires the same information. We make it easy for the client to obtain the number of nodes by providing it as the return values of reset. When getNext reaches the end of the collection of elements, another call to getNext result in a runtime exception. So let's look at the code here. So to implement reset initializing current position for an iteration through BST in order type order returns current number of nodes in the BST. Alright, so start from size. We already know how to implement size, so we get the number of nodes. And we look at the order type. It pretty much just we create a constants, right? To pick if you want to do in order, it's 1. Pre-order is 2, and 3 is post order. So if it's passing the reset to be in order, so we're gonna use create the queue for in order, and then call in order method. Okay, so this is the same pre-order and post-order. Create a queue for pre-order and call pre-order method. Create a queue for post-order and call post-order method. Now, how about getNext? Same, getNext is depending on the order we pass in. But we have to do precondition that BST is not empty. Because if it's empty, we cannot get next. And BST has been reset. And BST has not been modified since the most recent reset. The end of order type iteration has not been reached. Otherwise, it's going to be returning 1, right? Returns the element at the current position on this BST and guesses the value of the current position based on the order type set by reset. So if we have order type in order, is returned in order queue dot DQ, which is the next one, as well as pre-order, right? Pre-order DQ, post-order DQ. Else return no. Okay, so last. So that's how we do getNext. Now we are interested to look at the method of in order, pre-order, and post-order. How we implementing that? So in order enqueues the elements in the BST in order from smallest to largest. Size denotes nodes in the tree whose root is 3. Best case, If 3 equals to 0, do not